Okay, hello, Jakob Clausager Jensen from Copenhagen. We are very excited to be able to talk to you today about the Danish Efterskole, which is a very particular concept developed in Denmark, and you will tell us more about it. And we are very interested in how Efterskole can be a model for further developing Oberstufe in Germany. So my first question is, because many of our German viewers are not really familiar with the model of Efterskole, what is the main idea and concept behind Efterskole?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Anne, and thank you for inviting me to speak to you. The main thing about Efterskole is, the Efterskole. It's a unique Danish residential school where students from the age of 14 to 18, or mainly it's 15 to 17, can choose to spend 1, 2, or 3 years to finish the primary education. It's mainly just 1 year. And we have 240 Efterskoles. And at present, approximately 30,000 students attend an Efterskole, which is something between 25 to 30% of a Danish year group. So it's almost 1/3 of all Danish young people who attend an Efterskole for 1 year. And in Denmark, we have 10th grade. It's an optional year in Denmark. You can go straight from 9th grade directly to a higher secondary education, or Oberstufe. And 70% of the students, they attend an Efterskole in this optional year. And it's a year where parents, they say it's an important year. We want to use that extra year for the school. And and we have the 240 Efterskoles, and they vary in size from 35 and up to 600 students. So the average is 130 students per school. Mm-hmm. But to answer your question, it's the primary objective, according to the law, is to ensure enlightenment for life, general education, and democratic citizenship. Mm-hmm. And it's quite wide. And the law clarifies that the Efterskole task, it's both educational in general, as well as the broader task of supporting students' Bildung, and in Danish we call it dannelse. Mm-hmm. So, and the first Efterskole were founded 150 years ago, and the schools, they were closely related to the Danish folk high schools, and they are more popular around the world, or they are more well known, and more important to the educational ideas of Grundtvig. Mm-hmm. He wanted schools to provide enlightenment for life rather than formal vocational training. And Grundtvig, he believed that democracy could only work if all participants were enlightened citizens. And enlightenment had more to do with understanding life than with understanding books. So vital to such enlightenment was the appreciation of a togetherness that could foster both individual freedom and social responsibility. So he wanted everyone to take part, and it was not just about the books. I can say, one of the things that is unique about the Efterskole is the teacher-student relationship. Maybe that also answers your question better. But yes. As Efterskoles, they are boarding schools, and students and teachers, they are together all day long. And this combined with a particularly Efterskole pedagogy creates good conditions that both academically and socially strengthen the students, as well as making them more independent and mature. And that is the main thing about it.
That's great. And I think that links very nicely to my second question. Why would you say is attending an Efterskole, which is obviously quite popular in Denmark, beneficial for students at this particular age?
I'd say that it has to do with, if I go to what the professor says, a Danish professor, Niels Ingelund, he says, the Efterskole has something to offer both educationally and socially, because the students, they live together. It can perhaps be said that the teachers who work at an Efterskole are not entirely ordinary. They are prepared to involve aspects of themselves other than the professional, so that the pupils have a positive relationship to the teacher. I think this is the main thing. And, as I said before, for Grundtvig, schools were to provide enlightenment for life rather than formal or vocational training. So the teaching style was based on free and open, poetic, historical talks without fixed syllabi. but with the emphasis on human enlightenment. To after-school teachers, they are educated at teacher colleges, and they can choose to work at any kind of school in Denmark. So it's not special teacher colleges. It's like they can work at the state, private, free, or they can work at after-school. So they will be swapping in and out of after-schools. So maybe I will. Why is attending an after-school beneficial for students? Like you said, it's a year where you live together with young people your own age. The teachers are guests, but the pupils, they live there. So it's their home for a year. It's more important, it's a safe environment where young people, they can try new sides of themselves together with other young people. And maybe most importantly, with educated staff around them 24/7. So it is crucial for this development that they live at the Efterskole round the clock. And students, they see both peers and teachers in a lot of different situations where they laugh, they cry, they have morning hair, are on survival trips, they're put to bed, they are hugged, or they are just together in this environment. So no matter if it's teaching, cleaning, career guidance, evening or weekend activities, there's a learning environment 24/7. I think this is
that's very interesting. I read somewhere, or I heard somewhere, that Danish parents say that you send a child to the Efterskole and you get an adult back from Efterskole. So I think maybe you can explore that a little bit more. And you also mentioned cleaning. So that is quite interesting, because I understand that pupils have to take on a lot of responsibility for their daily life. So cleaning, cooking, a lot of chores.
Cooking, and all the common activities, are together. Singing in the morning, everyone together. You'll have a week duty in the kitchen together with educated staff. So it's a pedagogical environment. You have to learn everything. And every day, all students, they clean. Also together with staff. The staff, they check more than they clean. But so it's part of the after-school life. They take responsibility. And maybe the most important thing here is that the students, they, after a month, they call it their home. It is their home. The teachers are more guests because the students live there. But the students, they say, after a month, this is my home. And so you have to create like this safe environment. And I think that's crucial. Yeah. And if we come to what the parents say, why does parents pay money for an after-school year? Because it does cost money for an after-school year. They say for the boys, it's to become mature, and for the girls, it's to strengthen self-esteem. That's one of the main things. But it's also this extra year where the young people, they prepare themselves for upper secondary education, and almost all parents, they say that it's in a very high degree, the young people need clarification of their own skills and interest in relation to choice of education. So they don't have one path, they need a year to figure out, what am I good at? What are my interests? And they need to do that in a safe environment with teachers around them. So we have teachers in the morning when they wake up. We have teachers when they say goodnight. It's teachers all day long. It's not just for the lessons, but it's all day long teachers.
That's great. Yes. And I think you already mentioned the aspect of personality development and choices. So I understand that students are given choices. Efterskole have different profiles, and they have different electives within Efterskole. So what would you say, how does Efterskole prepare students for the upper secondary, the final level of schooling in Denmark, and for what comes afterwards? So the pathways into vocational or academic careers.
Yeah, I will. If we go to research has shown that young people who have attended an after-school have better foundations to do well in upper secondary and again in higher education. It showed that the additional year before starting secondary education, it pays off. Students who have taken, for example, 10th grade, which 70% does, they are more likely to embark on and complete an upper secondary education. And I don't know if you use the same expression, but the schoolmate effect. you know, where students from education strong homes, they lift up the weaker students. And that is particularly strong at an Efterskole because they live so closely together. So, and another thing that, you know, as a research project from 2011, and again, a research project which were finished last year, says that, you know, the Efterskole can make a difference in equipping the emerging generations to meet and to manage this complex modern society. So according to the conclusion, they say that there seems to be much to be gained here in the Bildungsdidactics and unique Efterskole pedagogy. So, so today the Efterskole is filling the gap between lower secondary and upper secondary education, and more importantly, giving young people a chance to grow and develop in a residential school setting. So the key to an understanding of this success is the attraction and impact of the residential education and the social environment to present-day youth. So
that's great. And I think I understand that Efterskole has become like a unique part of Danish culture. Is that something that can be said? And I also noticed that the cost is not so high compared to what boarding schools normally cost. So the Danish state is supporting this, right, for Danish families, so that everyone can afford it.
There's a small funding for students from all over the world to attend, and there's a big funding for Danish students to attend. Yes. So we also have students, or some of the schools, you know, some of the 240 schools have students from all over the world, but definitely the main part of 30,000, it's coming from Danish students who says, I want a year at an Efterskole. I have two daughters myself, and I'm not sure whether they want to attend an Efterskole, but I can tell you, my wife and I, we have found the money for it. So, so it's for them to choose whether they would like to join.
Yeah, but I noticed the funding model is for the Danish families is in a way that almost everyone can afford it, I guess, and that's quite unique too for this.
Yes, the price depends on how much, how the year income is in the family. So if it's if you earn a lot, you have a high price, and for those families who do not earn, or if you are alone, mother or father, the price is low. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a great model, and thank you very much for sharing the concept of Efterskole with us and for telling us more about it. And I think a lot of our viewers will be interested to read more about it and look at some more material. So thank you very much for providing all this information, which will certainly enrich our forum Neue Oberstufe. Thank you to Jakob in Copenhagen.
Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you, Anne. Wish you a good day.